hard for the pain that people are feeling. Did you guys hear Howard Lutnick talking about how his mom would be okay if she missed a Social Security check? Can you guys just play the sound real quickly?
Let's say Social Security didn't send out their checks this month. My mother-in-law, who's 94, she wouldn't call and complain. She just wouldn't. She'd think something got messed up, and she'll get it next month.
Yeah.
A fraudster always makes the loudest noise, screaming, yelling, and complaining.
Oh,
well, first of all,
okay, so
my mother would be concerned. I want you to know she keeps texting me talking about tell Elon do not touch my Social Security, and I keep telling her I don't know Elon Musk, mother, but I will tell it on television. But the tone deaf, I don't even think explains.
What is his net worth again?
A lot of money. Let's Google.
So your mama would call you. She would call you, and guess what you would do? You'd write her a check. But what about the mother who doesn't have someone that they can call to put money in that bank account for a month? You insensitive lug. How dare you? How dare you?
$2 and $4 billion.
$4 billion. Yeah, your mama's not going to worry, because if you're any kind of a decent son, you're going to cover that month. But there are a lot of mothers out there who don't have that. How dare you?
Well, that's his mother-in-law.
Oh,
so
you can miss a month. You be okay. Take your ass into a community where they don't have those resources available to them. How dare you? I mean, this is the arrogance right now, America. This is the arrogance. They're looking you in the eye and say, you can miss your payments. You'll be okay. You can feed your family with no money. You can clothe your family with no money for a month. You can do that. You arrogant SOB. $4 billion sitting there telling America you can miss a payment? My daddy's on Social Security. What is he going to do? He's going to come to me if he misses the payment, because he's got a resource. He's got a son who can help him. He's got a daughter who can help him. But their families don't have people who can help them. Sorry, but
no, but Michael, no. You are leveling up, as you would say, how so many people across this country feel. Every single week that we have talked about Social Security, there's somebody in our comments, in our emails that we see out on the streets that says we're not telling the truth. We're trying to scare people. And you have the Commerce Secretary saying, I mean, look, if he misses a payment, it should be okay. It's not okay, but also they're telling you what they're planning to do. So if you feel the way that we feel, pick up the phone and call your elected officials. Write to the White House. Call the White House switchboard. We'll get the number in the next break.
At this point, don't call them. Unelect them.
Well,
if they align themselves with that thinking, they do not deserve to be in public office. Period. You take control of this situation and unelect these people who think like that.
As we talk about caring for the old, caring for the poor, we have breaking news out of Rome, where Pope Francis made a brief public appearance from his hospital window a short time ago, waving at supporters and thanking them. This is the first time we have seen the 88-year-old in.
And then on top of all this are the comments from Commerce Secretary Howard Lutnick. He's worth probably more than $1 billion. Who gave this answer to some other billionaires on a podcast to a question about people trying to intimidate Doge.
Is it basically to put fear into people that are trying to find this waste and fraud? Is that what that is? The burning of the dealerships?
If you're, I describe it to people this way. Let's say Social Security didn't send out their checks this month. My mother-in-law, who's 94, she wouldn't call and complain. She just wouldn't. She'd think something got messed up, and she'll get it next month.
Yeah.
A fraudster always makes the loudest noise, screaming, yelling, and complaining. Anybody who's been in the payment system and the process system knows the easiest way to find the fraudster is to stop payments and listen.
Yeah.
Because whoever screams is the one stealing.
Congressman Suhasoo Ramanyam is a Democrat representing Northern Virginia, and he joins me now. Congressman, I want to talk about a really raucous town hall you had this week. But first, I want to ask if you think Mr. Lutnick, and God bless his mother-in-law, who I certainly hope gets her check, do you think this is a good idea for detecting fraud, to stop all Social Security payments and just see who complains because those people are cheating the system?
No, it's a terrible way. But let's be real. This is not about waste, fraud, and abuse. This is really about trying to cut Social Security altogether. I actually heard from many constituents today that their appointments were canceled. So first they're saying that, yes, you need to come in person now to do a lot of your stuff. And then they're canceling the appointments. I heard from another constituent who actually works at the Social Security office who said that half our office has been fired, so they can't even fulfill these appointments. So they're trying to cut Social Security. Social Security is an earned benefit, and it's a promise that we made to our seniors that they paid into for decades. And I just think it's terrible what he said, and it's terrible what this administration is doing.
It seems to me like there's a that, you know, the congresswoman, your colleague from Wyoming, basically said the president is been very clear he's not going to cut Social Security, and he has said things like this many times. Meanwhile, Elon Musk calls it a Ponzi scheme. And it seems like one way to understand what's happening, I don't know if this is happening, but I want to get your feedback, is the way that they're getting out of this is we promise not to cut it, but we really want to cut it, is to kind of backdoor cut it by making it really hard for people to get their checks.
That's exactly right. And they're doing this across the government. They're saying that they're going around waste, fraud, and abuse is the problem, that they're fixing it by firing all these lazy federal workers. But the federal workers actually live in my district. And let me tell you, they do incredibly important work to make us safe, make us healthy. And what's happening with Social Security is happening across the government, with veterans being fired at the VA. And I'll just tell you, like, this is really troubling, because what's going to happen is they're coming after seniors now. They're coming after veterans. Even if you're not in that class, they're coming after you next, because they're touching the third rail of politics that has never been touched before.
Yeah, we should note that the acting Social Security commissioner, who is now the acting commissioner of Social Security and seems to be kind of a Doge partner, guy by the name of Leland Dudek. He was ordered by a judge that Doge had to stop going through the data at Social Security. The judge said that Doge was essentially engaged in a fishing expedition there.
Just a few weeks ago, every single House Republican voted to cut Medicaid in this country. And so many of them now are, oh, no, we didn't. It didn't say Medicaid in the bill. No. They voted to cut $880 billion from the committee that governs Medicaid. And they voted for it.
Congresswoman Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez addressing Democratic voters furious over President Trump and Elon Musk's efforts to slash Social Security and other government programs. AOC and Senator Bernie Sanders making the first stops on their Fighting Oligarchy tour, where crowds cheered their calls to fight back the chaos created by Trump's executive orders and sweeping federal cuts. Joining me now is California Congressman Robert Garcia. Welcome back to the show. It's always good to see you, Congressman. So Senator Sanders said 34,000 people turned out in Denver Friday, calling it the largest of the hundreds of rallies that he's done. These rallies and the spirited town halls hosted by Democratic lawmakers across the U.S., they're harnessing something of a fighting spirit Democratic voters want to see more of. So is this the way to turn anger into action and mobilize voters in the battle against Trump and his agenda?
Absolutely. Look, first, I was a supporter and fan of Alex's, of AOC's, before I got to Congress, and even more so now. I think what she is doing right now, what Bernie Sanders is doing right now, is exactly what we need to be doing across the country. Their message about taking on billionaires who are not focused on lowering costs, who are not focused on making housing more affordable, is and should be the Democratic message. We have to be in this fight and fighting hard. And Democrats are already around the country. We're hosting town halls. We've got town halls here back home in my district. We're going into Republican districts. So this is a time for us to be on the offense and to fight and match the energy that people have on the ground who are angry at Donald Trump and at Elon Musk, essentially trying to take away all of their earned benefits and services across the country.
And then Trump signed the executive order this week to shut down the Department of Education, saying it's a waste of taxpayer money. He wants most aspects of the department turned over to states to improve student outcomes, even though states already pay for about 90% of K through 12 education, and they oversee curriculum. And then he, of course, offered no details on how education will be improved by his actions. What are the consequences for public education, and is this a fight Democrats can take on?
Well, first, let me just start by, I was a longtime teacher and educator before I got to Congress. I did about 10 years in the classroom. This is, in my opinion, might be the most horrific thing that Donald Trump and Elon Musk have actually done. What people don't understand is that the Department of Education is the single largest supporter for families and who have children with disabilities in America's classrooms. These are largely federally funded programs. These are not generally fully funded by states. And so to eliminate the Department of Education, for Trump to say, well, we're just going to send the money to the states, one, is a flat out lie. And two, especially red states in conservative areas, they're going to send those resources to private schools that don't actually provide any classroom experience or support or inclusion programs for children with disabilities. And so this is an attack, yes, on families, on students, on teachers, but it is a horrifically shameful moment that the president wants to hurt children with distinct needs, that they need also education to be included in our education system. They're the biggest losers in this. And I think we should all be protesting in the streets about this and be incredibly angry and letting Republicans know that they have enabled this kind of action against America's families.
Listen, let's drill down a little further because Trump announced that the department's most vital operations, including administering federal student loans and programs, to your point, serving low-income students and those with disabilities, they will move to other federal agencies.
Guys, what you're seeing here is Donald Trump being exposed by his own team. This video, which was this was never meant to be the message, got leaked out to the world, and now Democrats are seizing on it. And when you want to wonder why, people wonder, like, why is Bernie Sanders and AOC, why are they resonating so much right now? Obviously, they're big people. Bernie's always drawn big crowds. But why right now? Like, we're out of an election season. He's not president. AOC's just a relatively young congresswoman. Why right now? Because it's about them and their stars, but it's really about the message and how the anti-oligarchy message is more evident to more people now than at any point since the financial crisis back in 2007, 2008, but maybe even further than that. Because let's be clear, the result of the financial crisis was Barack Obama sort of bailing out the banks, but not the people, right? Right? Like, Joe Biden did a far better job of bailing out the people after COVID than Biden did, or than Obama did after 2007, 2008, right? But now the oligarchy is being exposed in real time. And one of the examples is, man, if you need to complain about your Social Security check, you're a fraudster, which is basically him calling everybody but the wealthy seniors a bunch of cheats and liars. He's calling millions of people, maybe some of you, cheats and fraudsters for having the gall to want what you need and what you're entitled to from a lifetime of being a citizen and a working American and all of that. This is insanity. And it's why people are getting furious.